It is Sunday, May the 21st, 2017. Welcome to Wrestleview Live number 13 here on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever you're listening to us. We appreciate it. I am Adam Martin, editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com. Hi, everybody. We're also on the front page of Wrestleview.com, and a little bit bigger this time. We were kind of hiding it in the corner, so a little bit larger, but we're going to be hanging out here talking about Smackdown's Backlash pay-per-view tonight, which just got done about 10-15 minutes ago in Chicago. A lot of holy shit reaction faces and shots with Jinder Mahal becoming the new WWE champion tonight. So a lot of conversation about that. Joining me tonight on the podcast, tonight as usual, I should say, as if I would sit here by myself and do this podcast alone, is Mr. Doug Lackey. Douglas, we were having a discussion earlier today about I don't know if we were so much getting down on WWE right now, but just kind of like, it's it's Backlash, it's Smackdown, it's like, I mean, not that Smackdown has like sucked or anything, because a lot of times people will, when they have the conversation, what's the better show? Most people will probably say Smackdown because it's easier to take in with the 2 hours, but we made a conscious effort. It's like, well, you know what? Before we prejudge it, let's watch the show, let's hang out, and we'll talk about it. Because I feel like some people feel super forced to sit here and, we're going to break everything down detailed, but we're just like, there's a couple things on the show that definitely I wanted to see what was going to, definitely the Jinder Mahal thing. We'll talk about that, but there was kind of that back and forth we had today where we're just like, I don't know. Like, there's a lot of these summer shows coming up. I was looking at the calendar. There's tonight's Backlash. 2 weeks from now is Extreme Rules. And then 2 weeks after that's Money in the Bank. So there's a lot of shows coming up. So they're just going to be smacking you with content, Douglas, in the next few weeks.
This seems to be a recurring theme with us. Like, before every WWE pay-per-view, we try to psych each other up. I guess you could say. We try to psych each other up. All right, we got another one of these. Why are we psyched? Why are we excited to watch this? Why are we even more enthused to talk about it? And what's weird for me is, even looking at the card and even from watching SmackDown and everything, even with the results that everyone is going completely apeshit about, I predicted Jinder to become the champion. In my mind, I was like, he's going to win. He's going to win. But it doesn't shock me, but it doesn't leave me with the, oh my God, I got to talk about it. I'm just like, yeah, that's what happened. Though there is one match that did happen on this card that I'm very, very glad that I did, have the gumption to watch this show with an open mind and it happening, and we'll get to it.
Was it Nakamura?
No.
Really?
Absolutely
okay. I was
not. I could give a damn about. Well, let's go ahead and go. Well, let's just go and call it the King of Derp Style.
The King of Derp Style, yeah, which we've wanted to.
The King of Derp Style. I could give a damn about Nakamura.
Well, because the advertising. Have you been? Do you pay attention to, like, when they do advertising for these shows, like what they're?
Oh, I can't help but pay attention.
Okay, so for like weeks now, there's just been a commercial about how tonight was going to be Shinsuke's in-ring debut for Smackdown. Now, yes, he's been on NXT for years. Yes, you can watch every Shinsuke match from, an eternity in New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I liked that they intentionally. Do you want to just start there? Let's just start there. Why?
Well, let's just start there.
Why have an organization here? I like that they intentionally held him out of the ring. And I liked the stuff that Dolph was saying. Like, Dolph constantly was just like, oh, I've heard the hype and everyone loves to sing your theme and blah, blah, blah. Because this is that one thing that WWE, I thought, has done a very good job of tapping into, is understanding there's that NXT audience. There's that audience of people that are more hardcore than even your hardcore WWE fan that will watch everything these guys do. They know everything about this person. So by the time they show up in NXT, they can tell you every match that they've had, Doug, how many stars these matches have gotten. They know everything about these guys.
Yeah.
So I like that they took advantage of that. They tapped into that. And Nakamura had what, like a year under his belt, a little less than a year in NXT. So he had a pretty good run there. And they were just slowly building up to this. But the advertising was a lot of photos of him. It was the slow motion, getting down and doing the poses. And it's the first time you're going to see. And I have to tell you, I was incredibly underwhelmed by Nakamura's match tonight with Dolph. I was actually pretty surprised at how lackluster it was, because like he's had good matches in NXT, but I was like, that's the one thing that's a little scary about this, is that they'll build someone up and they'll kind of, I don't know how to say overhype it, but they'll kind of be like, oh, you got to watch this, Doug. This is what's going to be the big thing tonight in Chicago. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to have his first in-ring, and then I don't know if Dolph was the wrong person to put him with to start off things. They let him go a really long time. And I thought, well, if the point is we're supposed to be getting excited about a new character in this company, someone that could become a new star, generally what, 5, 6, 7 minutes, get in, get out. I mean, they really dragged. I'll have to look at the official time, how long these guys went, but I don't know about you, but I thought it was underwhelming tonight.
It was incredibly... It was just a match. I mean, I didn't see anything of it to really make it, that important, and I'm trying to blank out everything that I've seen from him in NXT. Okay. I'm only trying to put this in the caveat of main WWE programming. This is his debut, his first program. It's against Dolph Ziggler, who, I guess, can we go ahead and put it out there when it comes to Dolph that this might be one of the first times that so much pressure has been put on him when it comes to a match involving a debuting performer or putting over someone who's supposed to be put over. I mean, I'm not trying to say... I guess... I feel like there was a lot of pressure put on Dolph with this. Okay, but it seems to be a no-brainer, but the problem that I kind of had with this match and just watching this and all of the hype put around Nakamura was there was nothing that put me at the edge of my seat. There was nothing that made me even get a blowback and go, oh, whoa, okay. There was no... I don't know. I don't know if it's he doesn't sell enough, or if Dolph didn't sell enough, or Dolph didn't have enough offense for Nakamura to sell, or Dolph didn't know how to sell the offense Nakamura was giving him. But it seemed like there was no ebb and flow with this match at all. It seemed very disjointed to me. It seemed like almost it was put up on the fly, and that they didn't really think through of what to do in this match. It even seemed when it came to the finisher that Nakamura gives out, the running weird-looking knee thing that he does.
Yeah.
That seemed even disjointed. Everything just did not seem very even keel, and I don't know if that's a lack of communication or if it shouldn't be a lack of practice. These guys have been having dark matches now, I think, for the past 4 weeks. And they've been working together on house shows in Europe.
Yeah. So it wasn't like this was the first time these guys worked together. Goose in the chat said it looked like Dolph was half-assing it the whole match. And it was like a weird pace they set. And I don't know if it was someone we were in the Facebook thread for the Trey and Adams show page was saying, and I forget who said it, that it looked like, if this was the kickoff moment for, let's just say, like you had said, maybe you didn't watch anything he did in NXT. This was like your introduction to him. What are you to take away from this? If he's the king of strong style, but he, strong. I mean, granted, Dolph is not this dude that should just get, squashed in 5 minutes. I get that. They were trying to put that portion over of it a little bit, but I don't know. It was just kind of maybe Dolph
they never explained what strong style is. I mean, they kept saying it, but what does that mean? Okay. And I know that everyone listening right now knows what that means, but I'm asking this question for someone who's watching, like you said, Nakamura for the very first time. Okay. And they keep saying King of Strong Style, King of Strong. Well, it is up to the announcers and everyone talking about this match to describe what that means. And even if you tried to describe that, man, you're asking a lot of someone who doesn't watch YouTube, who doesn't watch Japan, who doesn't watch anything else, to try to say why calling him this title means something. And even when you define what that is, what you would have seen in that ring, what's the difference? All that we really see, in my opinion, is a really skinny Japanese guy that only picks up a guy once. Okay? It's just a lot of kicking, a lot of knees, and he wears a wacky mouth guard, and he likes to scream a lot. That's all I got from this.
He is a character. The thing is, though, I will say this. This company needs characters badly.
For sure.
So he brings that to the table. I'm not sitting here saying I think he's, bad by any means. I think he's something different.
No.
He's something that they can, and SmackDown's a great place for this character right now. I don't know how well this character would do on Raw, because I feel like on Raw they would just kind of put him in matches for like a month straight, and you would maybe kind of get to know him. But they did really build even up his debut on SmackDown with Dolph, and I love the stuff that Dolph said in the promos. I guess I liked how everything was going in the build-up, and then I got the match, and I was like, that's it? Okay. So I don't even think I had super high expectations for it. I was just a little surprised at the direction they decided to go tonight, and that, that's going to happen occasionally. It's stuff that you think is going to just, knock it out of the park, and then you see the result, and you're like, all right. But it wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I was just kind of, a little underwhelmed by it, and maybe they need to choose his opponents a little bit more carefully and maybe move on. Dolph Ziggler, in essence, though, for me, Doug, is just like a dude doing stuff. So maybe that didn't help matters either. That like we've just come so far from, what was it? Is it 2013 was when he became world champion? Had that really cool moment after WrestleMania, and it's just like, man, like how are those guys the same dudes? It's just. It's a weird thing how, and I know concussions, and I know, but
I'll go more recent when it comes to Dolph. I mean, God, what was it like just 2 years ago at I think it was almost around about this time of the year. The whole authority angle was going on. And when Sting came back, and Dolph was lauded as the messiah of Raw because he got the authority kicked out and they were no longer in charge and everything. And this cape was put on Dolph by John Cena that this guy is the real deal. You've known he's the real deal. He's a former world champion. But by God, the last thing that we can actively remember that he's done recently was have a really bad intro program with Dean Ambrose with the brand split. Mm-hmm. And I think that has still, he hasn't washed that off yet. And so I don't know if Dolph was the best person to pair up with Nakamura, but character-wise and personality-wise, it was a no-brainer. The thing I kind of think is that they might have needed some more practice.
Maybe.
They might have needed some more house shows. They might have needed some more dark matches. I mean, I keep talking about the Braun Strowman Big Show match in February, but the biggest reason why that match was so good is because that match was in a lot of house shows and a lot of dark matches, a lot of house shows. I mean, this was like 3 months in the making. Okay, it took a lot of time and a lot of effort for those two to have such a great match. I'm not saying that Nakamura Ziggler should have been to the lengths that was, but the continuity should have been to the lengths that was. Mm-hmm. To where you could sit down, watch it, not know a damn thing about either one of them. A story is told in the ring.
Sure.
I don't know what story was told in that ring other than Nakamura just really likes kicking people and kneeing people. And Dolph Ziggler, I guess he was representing America.
He was, well, I said on...
He had the tights to show it.
I know, I said, someone mentioned that too, that, how can you boo him when he's got the American flag? But it was weird, like in Chicago, to hear Ziggler sucks chants. And he was, Like, and that is one of the snarkiest crowds you can perform in front of. And to hear like Dolph Ziggler, it's just such a. But again, it's Nakamura, and he's got the aura. But even like after the match, like JBL's like, it's just about the best debut you could ever have, Doug. And I was just like, what? Like, okay, like I think the problem maybe was they were determined for that to be good no matter what, and regardless of how it was, that's how it was going. That was going to be the narrative tonight, was that Shinsuke is amazing and does everything. And again, I don't think he sucks. I like the character. I like the presentation. I think he has a lot of upside with some of the offense stuff he does in the ring. Just wasn't good tonight. It just didn't flow well. Weird vibe. Yeah. A lot of weird pacing with the match and choices, and didn't like it. Not a fan. I'll tell you a match I did like, Doug, though. I'm curious to see what you thought of it. Especially because one of the guys in the match gets a lot of criticism from a lot of wrestling fans, and even I guess you could even say both of these guys, but one of the guys was kind of an indie darling and is now getting criticized a lot, and that's Sami Zayn and Baron Corbin. And I was talking more about Sami getting criticized. I loved this match. And it was just the stupid subtle things that I loved, and I made sure to note these on Twitter so we could talk about it tonight when I was covering the show on Wrestleview. Was the very beginning. There was this little exchange where Corbin got tossed to the outside, and Sami tried to flip over the ropes, but he countered, flipped back into the ring, and did like an indie, like, haha, I landed. And then Baron Corbin just starts clapping, going, oh, that's cool, that's impressive. And Corbin's always been that like anti-independent wrestler. Like, I didn't need to work the indies to get to where I'm at today, and I love that stuff. It's so unique, and they so need guys like that to say stuff like that. And then, like, you know, as the match was progressing, he kept putting a bear hug on Sami Zayn. So when Sami Zayn would run to hit the ropes, he would be holding and clutching his lower back. Like, just very subtle selling, but it was enough to where, like, I noticed it and I was like, oh, he's actually trying to tell a story here. And I just thought they had a really good match, and I was very surprised they had Sami win, because they've been very focused on Baron on Smackdown, and, you know, testing him out with guys like John Cena and The Miz, and sticking him in main events and having him work with different people. I watched him work a match with Bray Wyatt and John Cena at a house show recently. So there's been like a genuine, and I think Luke Harper was in that too. There was a genuine effort to kind of, let's see how this guy's going to go. We'll stick him in there with some of the more top talent. So I was kind of surprised that he lost tonight, but I like Sami Zayn. There's a lot of people that think he sucks. They think the character's stupid. I really like the underdog kind of Mick Foley presentation. It was funny that they had him work with Foley on Raw. It worked out really well, but I like the stuff Sami does, in terms of being like the babyface and peril stuff. So I'm curious to see what you thought. I thought tonight this was by far the best match of the night, in my opinion.
It was definitely an entertaining match. For me, it wasn't the best match of the night, but it was definitely one of the better ones. I really like the transition that they're making with the Sami Zayn character ever since, I guess since the shakeup, but I want to say it's probably since the shakeup, where he's come into SmackDown, and the aw shucks attitude has really come out full to the nines with Zayn's character. Now he's just like, I'm so glad to be here. Man, I can't wait. I get to team up with so-and-so and so-and-so. And I really love being here. You know, I really like that part of his character, because that really makes the underdog of him really come out and stand out, you know. When it comes to Baron, yes, they have been pushing him to the forefront and giving him more experience with everyone from John Cena to Wyatt to, you just name it, they put him out there. But the thing is, the result of the match does not shock me. This again was one of those matches that did not shock me, that Zayn would get the win, a clean win, because they've kind of been pushing that Baron keeps harping and bitching about how, why aren't I put in the main events? Why aren't I given a title shot? Well, we'll go ahead and give you this match, and if you win, you get in. And he ends up losing. It's happened many times with this character. He is a focal point of the show, but he is not the, shoved down your throat focal character of the show. He is not the Roman Reigns of SmackDown by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. But this match in particular, the bear hug spot that you talk about, it's not as much Baron, taking his hands and put him to the lower back, but it's also Baron widening his base so that Zayn can kind of, let's just go ahead and make it sound sexual here a little bit, where he can wrap his legs almost around his, and so he can brace himself up on top of Baron. There have been way too many times we've seen bear hug spots where someone is not up off the ground.
That's very true. It looks really silly.
Okay, it's silly that they do that.
You gotta be very distracted. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make this sexual and just.
Well, let's just go. Well, yes, it looked like a lambada is what they were doing. Okay, but come on, by God, this is already homoerotic as it is. Okay, but that's what it was, and the spot itself. That's why it was so well done. Is that you finally see a bear hug spot to where someone is off the ground. Okay, yeah. And it looks plausible. Okay, great cutoffs by Baron. I like his ducking underneath the corner, then running around to the opposite side and cutting off with a clothesline. Even Sami Zayn's monster clothesline that seems to fall any human being out of nowhere. But what I like more about Zayn now is that they're taking away the buildup of the haluva kick. They're making it now like it comes out of nowhere.
Which is nice. I like that.
Which is brilliant. That is really, really needed. Because if they kept that build up, then any kind of wins that he would happen to get where, it being an underdog win doesn't feel like that. It has to come out of nowhere, not like an RKO, but kind of like how he does it right there. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. You did not expect it to happen. That's why he won. Okay. No, it was a fun match. I can't. They'll probably keep on doing this. I see this going on for another month. Why not?
Yeah. Well, Baron's going to be mad because he lost, so he'll do his I'm a angry guy from Kansas City that rides motorcycles and stuff. Because, there's times where, I like his presentation, and then he'll cut a promo, and then I'm just like, oh, he has a really dry delivery sometimes when he's... And also, I do think... Sometimes that happens to people that have to memorize this paragraph that, a script writer presents to them, which is totally stupid in wrestling. That's one of the things that's completely ruining wrestling. And more so, it's really just WWE that still adheres to this. I mean, a lot of companies will have, scripting to a degree, but they're not wanting you to remember your lines as if you're acting in a movie or a TV show. So that does, that really does. And I always thought that was overblown until I got a copy of a Raw script one time. And I made sure to put it in front of me and turn on an episode of Raw. And these guys, and again, I'm very impressed with how they can remember these lines, very detailed into a T, but man, does it suck. It's just very overly scripted, and it's really, really just ruined the WWE. It's the one aspect of it that I really do not like. If I get into a conversation with somebody that hasn't watched in a while and they kind of pick my brain, that's one of the things I'm like, ugh, it just stinks. It's one of the worst aspects of it. So Baron,
it is fair to say Baron Corbin is like the William Shatner of the WWE with how he delivers right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, his delivery is really, really bad when it comes to the lines. And I really wish that, the writers instead would just give bullet points, to the performers and people behind the microphone so that they can go ahead and know that this is their character. This is the pathos. These are the reasons you are doing this. You fill in the blanks. We're going to give you that freedom. But the problem is that is something that is also taught that a lot of wrestlers nowadays just don't have. Mm-hmm. They just do the stuff in the ring. They do nothing on a microphone. They do nothing when it comes to reacting to a crowd.
Which is so weird because and maybe this has changed since I've been there, but when I was in the Performance Center and I went up to the promo room, the entire thing they described to me was making these guys come up with something off the top of their head and have to be, reactionary, right, and just, almost ad-lib to a degree. And then they get up to the main roster and they say, here, remember this line, and you can't screw it up. And it's just well, you're teaching these guys to create characters and be larger than life and be, just, ad-lib and just be in the moment. And, he didn't even plan to say that. And granted, they do get, to a degree, some leeway if something happens and they have to, so they're doing something live and something goes wrong and they have to react to it. But they then kind of reroute their brains after teaching them, no, we want you to ad lib. We want you to come up with stuff off the top of your head. And then they get there and they give them, a script and they have to sit there and try to, remember it word for word. And it's just, I don't know. That's something I would love to talk about with someone who is either actively on the creative team or someone who's in production, and to go, tell me why that's key to your business model, or tell me why that's key to your television presentation, to have these guys remember these words as if it's a, Hollywood production where, when you're talking about an actor or an actress, they're going to get multiple takes and multiple opportunities, and these guys get one shot. And now that all the TV's live at this point, there's some shows they'll pre-tape, but that's a lot of pressure to be putting on these guys, especially the young talent coming up from NXT. It's just a weird, I don't know. I don't understand it.
But what's even worse about that is that makes your writing staff seem the most uncreative writing staff known to mankind.
Exactly.
I would think if you're a writing staff, the writers come up with the characters. They're the ones that develop the personalities, and they develop the code of ethics that every character has. But apparently this writing staff, they tell the performers in the performance center, you know what? You do what you want to do. You come up with what you want to be. And then we'll see how it goes. And sure enough, it may take off. And then they go, okay, could someone give me all the footage that this person has done so that I can watch it really, really quickly, so that I can understand what they came up with that I should have come up with. And I will try to write how that character that they developed would talk. Okay?
That's a good point.
That is incredibly lazy. And also incredibly patronizing to the person who created that character that you are now supposedly writing for, that you truly know nothing about. You just know what you have seen on TV and what the crowd apparently likes that they say. And you're only paying attention to the words that they say. You're not paying attention to the development of this character. It sounds like there is a big gap between the performer and the writing staff. And I mean the writing staff when it comes to bouncing above NXT and coming to the main roster. There is a tremendous gap. And I really wish I couldn't fault the main writing staff for this, but I think it has a lot to do with communication, and it has a lot to do with time out on the field. They're traveling nonstop. Okay. So there's a lot to ask for from both fields that we're talking about, performer and writing staff, that it's very difficult for them to come together. But at the same time, it should not be that difficult, because they should be able to get in the same room when they're on tour. There's nothing wrong with sitting down for 15, 20 minutes and giving a brief backstory to your writing staff about this character and how it speaks, and maybe sitting down with the performer and knowing what their pros and cons are when it comes to delivering the lines. What is each end trying to achieve here?
I think Batista talked about this when he came back. He said, man, like he said, there was obviously scripting, the last time he had been there, but he goes, wow, he goes, they made me, and he was mentally prepared for it, because he at this point he's been making movies in Hollywood, so he kind of knew what to expect, but he didn't realize how much it had changed and how, he just wasn't used to the structure. And I don't know if they were super happy that he was kind of putting that out there in the public, that he was just like, I don't know about this. It's a new era. It's a lot of new management, a lot of new production people back there. But I kind of hope that changes eventually in the future. But to them, they're still making money. So what the fuck do I know? Right, Doug? It's just like,
right.
They're just going to keep doing what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how they closed the show this evening? Because everyone was losing their shit in Chicago, whether you were happy or sad.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and talk about what closed the show, and after that, I'll say what my favorite match
I think I know what it was. Was it AJ and Kevin Owens?
Oh, God, no.
It wasn't?
No.
Okay, so your favorite match was then Luke Harper and Eric Rowan?
No.
The women's match?
No.
What am I missing?
The second match of the night was the greatest match of the card. Okay,
we're gonna have a strong disagreement on that one, so we'll
oh, this is gonna be a
this is a good one. Okay, so let's get the main event out of the way, then
let's talk about the main event.
Okay, so there was a lot of discussion going into this. Are they going to do the JBL thing with Jinder? And Mike Tedesco texted me. He said he was trying to think of like what was beyond this tonight. What was another big upset or one that kind of came out of nowhere outside of like JBL? And I thought, well, maybe the Miz many years ago, but he had the briefcase though, so you thought that there was a potential possibility there. But there was still a lot of buildup with Miz. So you kind of thought, well, but there was still a part of me thinking, nah, they're not going to do it with Miz. Like they'll give him the briefcase, he'll walk around with it, he'll be boisterous and cut promos, but he'll lose the match. With Jinder, though, I mean, obvious, and I see this every time someone talks about it. It's, well, they're trying to get into the India market. Yes, they are. But I also truly feel like they want to shake things up a little bit. And Randy is so boring as champion right now. I mean, the Bray Wyatt feud, you know, that left a lot to be desired. The WrestleMania match stunk. You know, we had a little bit of fun with House of Horrors, or House of Horrors is how I always hear it when Michael Cole promotes it. But, I don't know. Randy's just been, and then Randy, you know, got people going on the internet last weekend when he was making fun of, you know, your typical indie match of, you know, shake hands, dive to the outside, wrestle bit, you know, go back in, dive back out, flips. And, you know, he was going through so he was getting them all riled up. Counter. Exactly. Counter, roll up. Yeah. So, there was that kind of going into this, but there was like, you know, I could hear it. Now, granted, Chicago's usually always a great crowd, but I was kind of curious how they were going to react to this. And when Jinder was cutting a promo backstage, they were real loud, like super, super loud. And then when he walked out, I was like, oh boy, they might be thinking that this could be happening tonight. And I still sense though that there was like, okay, we're going to get as close as we can to the edge, Doug, of like, and they do this a lot. Well, they'll just get like so close, like, oh, we're going to do it. And then they hurry up and they switch it up on you. They totally did not do that tonight. They just went boom, went right for it. 1, 2, 3, Jinder's the new champion. So I love the reaction. Normally I'm not a big fan of because I guess the problem is if you're going to do these face reactions like they did for Undertaker when he lost, it works. But when you're doing it for every single match, that loses, you know, luster and importance. But I liked the face reactions they did of some people being like, oh my God. There was the one of like a little kid front row who was just like, he was so upset. He was just like, oh, I can't believe this, but it's effective. It makes the presentation look absolutely phenomenal. So I'm this could completely fall flat on its face, but I would like to give this an opportunity before I sit here and tell you it's going to suck, because I don't know if it's going to suck, but tonight was really, really well executed, I thought.
I have absolutely no problem with this match and the decision and everything that happened. Okay. Yes, the cynics will go and say, oh, it's because of the India market. Well, yes, they did it with the Great Khali. Yes, we'll go ahead and give you that. But you tap on the main reason for this. And yes, it is because of Randy Orton. He's about as charismatic as a jar of peanut butter. And I'm talking store brand peanut butter, not Jif or Peter Pan or anything like that. It's bad. He's really bad. And the problem is when he's the champion, he is considered, you know, the main character, but that's been AJ Styles. And he's kind of doing some other stuff because let's go and face it, man, they really spent it between him and John Cena. I mean, they really, really spent it with him. But the problem was that they were still building this Randy Orton Bray Wyatt thing during WrestleMania, and they put a lot of effort into building this storyline, but we have AJ Styles in the background. So how do we, you know, and then we have Styles and Shane and Wyatt and Orton, and that's what happens there. But the problem was that takes away the steam from everything that you had built up even prior to that with AJ Styles and John Cena for what we can say were 3 very good matches that I'm surprised they just did not go into for a big kickoff at WrestleMania, but oh well. But that's the problem right now, is Randy Orton as a champion and as a forefront main character of this show is not a good idea. Okay, not at all. to juggle it up and give the belt to Ginger. I'll call him Ginger.
I was gonna say Ginger.
I'm gonna call him Ginger. I don't care.
Okay.
It's either Ginger or Dinder. Ginger is
Maharaja.
kind of tough to say.
Yeah.
That guy. I'll call him that guy.
That dude.
No, that guy. The Indian guy. No, you know what?
Tom
no,
Van Stone.
Jinder Mahal.
Did you catch what Tom Van Stone was calling him on the Facebook comments?
No,
he was calling him the IT guy, which is not uncommon if you...
well, man, I'd call him the IT guy's big brother.
Well, he's huge, yeah. Maybe the Singh brothers were the IT guys, but yeah.
Yeah. He looks like he looks like a bouncer for, any kind of customer service call center is what I'm thinking of. But no, Jinder Mahal as champion is a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay. It juggles things up with this show. Do not think about the past with him. I know that's really, 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 really difficult.
Well,
okay. The 3MB, the really horrible matches that he had 3 years ago. Okay. You really need to cast those aside. And the only reason is because
you can't do it though, because did you hear what JBL said tonight? He goes, Jinder Mahal is the WWE champion. I'm going to say that one more time. So the fact that he had to deliver the line like that tells you, yes, they're going to think about everything that he did prior to this tonight.
And it's going to come up with every single program that he's in. I mean, they're going to give the insult spots whenever he goes up against a Sami Zayn or an AJ Styles or anyone like that. That's all going to come up. But there's a big difference between what we have now and what we had then. Okay. The biggest of all of them, acne. Lots of it.
Acne, yeah.
All over his body. And there are reasons he has acne. Okay. I'm just putting it out there. Okay. He worked on his body a lot. Okay. To get this look, to get this spot on the show. Okay. The look is what really makes this. Okay. And not just his physique. It's just, he has perfected that scowl, that angry look on his face. On his face? God, I need to drink more. Dear God, can I talk today?
You can.
He looks angry all the time.
He does.
Okay. And he does he does a great job at it. Okay. It's a great way to juggle up this show is what I'm trying to say. Put him against Sami Zayn. Oh, that'd be a fun match right there. But then you'll inevitably give it to AJ Styles. That we can see that happening. We'll chalk that up for maybe SummerSlam or later on down in fall.
Brian Farmer is asking if you're going to give him the Brock Lesnar free pass and people were talking about this on the Facebook group tonight about, giving dudes free passes. And I will say this, I was very publicly in support of the WWE drug testing policy until I found out that it didn't apply to part-timers like Brock Lesnar. So clearly that didn't apply to The Rock, who clearly, I love The Rock. He's an entertaining dude. He did very good last night on Saturday Night Live, but come on. Guys like Triple H, Undertaker, anybody who's, jumping in and out of the ring, that's not cool, man. That's just the rule because they're not full-time performers. That doesn't apply. And we're going to sweep that one under the rug, but Jinder's not in that position. So if Jinder is really on something, hopefully they are really trying to test him and stop this stuff from happening. But Roman Reigns got popped. So maybe if Jinder's really on the gas, then they'll find it. And what a bad time that would be. That's also, I'm glad you brought that up because wouldn't you feel a sense of risk looking at that dude, knowing he's under a full-timers contract going, I don't know, this could backfire if something happens, but that's if they decide to follow through with their drug testing.
If they have any form of integrity, they will. They know what the backlash would be if they didn't. They know the risk that they're taking.
Sure.
With this, okay? They know it. And they have a backup plan. They got a backup plan to the backup plan, okay? Basically what they've done is they've given this guy another shot, and they really like the look that he has. And whatever may come from what could be found or not found, they're all going to have to live with, okay? They are prepared for this, okay? I honestly, I hope I'm wrong, but my God, he needs to go to a dermatologist bad. Okay. I mean, this is really, really bad. You were talking earlier about when's the last time have we had a shock title win like this?
Mm-hmm.
And the one that I can think of, and I think if I'm trying to get my math right on this, I think it was about seven years ago is what it was. John Cena, Sheamus in a tables match.
Okay.
For the title. And Sheamus won. And it completely shocked everybody.
Sure.
Okay, this was his first world title win and came completely out of nowhere. Okay, I think it was because he pushed John Cena from the top ropes and Cena landed through a table and rang the bell. Title. And it kind of threw everyone aback. That's probably the last miraculous one I can think of. But
what about Mark? People are talking about Mark Henry, and which one was the Mark Henry one?
No.
Well,
Mark Henry's was not.
Mike Tedesco said that to me, and Frank just said it. So which one was the Mark Henry shocker? Was this the
Mark Henry shocker was him beating Randy Orton after they built up this Mark Henry character. I think it was probably a good 5 years ago, something like that, where he had matches against Big Show, Sheamus. Building him up, the Hall of Pain, building up that character.
Okay.
I don't want to really consider that a miracle just because we were kind of expecting that to happen, at some point in time. Especially that was a 4-month build of that character. This one was 1 month. Okay, 1 month build on the Jinder Mahal character. Mm-hmm. Okay, it initially started after WrestleMania because he lasted as long as he did during the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, and so there's not much build on this character. Yes, they're taking advantage. They're tapping into a market. Yes, they're shuffling up their roster. They're shuffling things up a little bit. That's great. Okay, but man, I am really worried about what might come up, later down the line. Get a dermatologist, get someone to take care of that stuff. Questions are going to start popping up very, very, very quickly. Okay. That's all I got. The match itself was fine.
Yeah, it was
good.
It's
what we expected,
Randy, I don't know which one of the Singh brothers it was, but Jesus, did you see that back suplex that he hit? And the guy...
Both of them.
Oh, they would flip, but it was nasty. So if you didn't see it,
both of them leapt too high.
Yes, they did.
Both of them leapt too high.
Yeah. Did you see Randy's face?
Oh God, Randy's face on that second was like, okay, that looked bad. Yeah. Oh, my shoulder's still hurts.
I loved when he thought, okay, I'm gonna grab my shoulder, but you could tell he was like,
he was like,
shit.
God,
that's not good.
And then when he went in between the tables, I was like, oh, he's gonna go over to check on them. Yeah, he's gonna give him a DDT in the ring. Never mind.
He just destroyed those dudes. So kudos to those guys for bumping around like crazy. That was pretty fun. That was interesting.
Or diving for the guy who talked about diving.
Talked about diving. Let's talk about this tag title match that you love so much because
yes, this is the reason to watch this pay-per-view.
Okay, so you're gonna have to, and I was having this conversation with Mike Tedesco as well. He was telling me how much he is loving this Breezango stuff with the fashion files.
Yes.
I don't get it. And you're going to have to talk to me about it. What do you not
get? Okay, so, all right, honey. Why are you confused, honey?
So I'm not confused by what they're doing. Like, I get they're doing dry humor, making fun of Law and Order. I get it.
Yeah.
I just don't necessarily find it overly hilarious. And I think it's one of those moments where, like, everyone's laughing and I'm going, oh, okay. And maybe I need to step back and watch more of them. Like, okay, for instance, why was he dressed like a janitor today? Why did he dress up like an old lady?
He's a master of disguise. He described that in the vignette. He said he was a master of disguise.
Okay, so he was, and again, everyone thinks this is hilarious. Like, I've seen every of the fashion file things, and I'm just like, it reminds me of every bad comedy attempt by WWE because there's moments where WWE will do something funny. And then there's other moments, to me, these fashion file things, I just don't find them overly funny. But so elaborate, sell me on this, because I I thought the match was good. I like heel bad guy Usos. I thought, they were doing some fun stuff in the match, but I'm just not that overly impressed with the Breezango stuff and the Fashion Files.
The Fashion Files thing, I really latched onto it for leading into this match. Okay. Then I really liked it too when it was in the build up for WrestleMania, and Breezango had a match between Cena and it was Cena and Fandango having a match, but Tyler Breeze was dressed up as a Bella twin. And
yeah, I did see that.
That's what they're doing. Okay, that's what they're doing now is Tyler Breeze is dressing up in these weird, goofy outfits. He's basically the Damian Sandow of the WWE now. Okay. But he is so much better than what Damian Sandow was when he would dress up as characters. Okay. This is supposed to be goofy. This is supposed to be stupid. And it was, and it is. What made it great was the Usos going along with it. And the reactions that they were giving to the stupidity that's happening in front of them. Tyler Breeze coming out there dressed like a janitor, comes into the ring, mopping the apron. And you see the Usos like, what is this? What am I watching? What are you doing? But then suddenly they get had on some of the things that he's doing. Okay. Like he gets tripped over the mop handle. He shoves the mop in the guy's face. I mean, that's funny stuff. Okay. Then later on in the ring, he ducks out of the ring. He comes back in. Now he's dressed up like an old lady. Okay. Who cares why? He just is. Okay. He flashes him and gives him a Bronco Buster. Who cares why? Okay.
I know.
He's doing stupid shit. Okay?
I know. Maybe I'm watching it where I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm asking questions when I shouldn't be asking questions, and I just okay. Because I don't know, man. I still don't think it's very funny. But maybe I need to give it. Maybe the next time I see it, just sit there.
And I dare not question your sense of humor. Okay, we both love Steve Brule.
Well, that's why. Okay? That's what's so weird about to me is like I fucking.
You love absurd humor. You love absurd.
I have a dark sense of humor. I like, I thought Tim and Eric Awesome Show was one of the funniest shows ever, and people will look at me like I'm retarded, and I could see what they were doing, and I think that was my problem was I was watching these Fashion File things like, okay, I know they're trying to do dry humor here, but it's not creeping its way back to me. And I'm just like, I wanted to like it, but I was just kind of like, oh, this stinks. I don't like it, but I don't know. Maybe I need to stop asking questions.
Well, the thing is, I think you were letting the vignettes of the Fashion Files take away from how you really should have enjoyed this match. And how you should have enjoyed it was how back pre-WrestleMania with Tyler Breeze dressing up as a Bella twin. And the two of them are in the ring before the match starts between Cena and Fandango. Fandango's on the mic reading Cena the charges that he has. And Tyler's just flipping tickets at Cena. Dressed up like a woman in hot pants. Okay? That's stupid. And that's funny. And that's all that matters. Okay? Tyler Breeze dressing up and doing stupid stuff in the ring is great, especially when, when the heels that they're going against go along with it. Okay. I'm glad that they are doing this instead of, here comes Breezango, time to have some fun. And then they get blasted by someone like the Authors of Pain.
Sure.
Or someone else. And it just completely squashes everything that's great and fun about them.
Well, okay. I'll give you that. I mean, it's like, okay, they tried to use these guys, and let's be honest, Tyler Breeze has not had the best main roster experience because he had such a unique character in NXT and such a unique presentation, and then when he brought it up to main roster,
and he's paired up against Dolph Ziggler,
and it just didn't work. It just didn't fly. So I do like an attempt to use him with Fandango and. And Fandango does, goof, like, I chuckled at him. I think he did something to Jimmy or Jey Uso and he just started shaking his hips for no reason. Like, I mean, I giggled and it's like, yes, I know you're not supposed to be here. Here's what I'm afraid. This is why I was a little afraid to say that I thought it stunk because I see what people are saying in the chat and I hear what you're saying. They're looking like, how could you not find this funny? Because I'm afraid of being put into Brian Alvarez, Dave Meltzer territory where they just take everything seriously and they can't enjoy anything about wrestling. And that's what's bothering me, is that I think I should be enjoying this, but I'm not. And I don't know why. And I'm trying to figure out why. So maybe I just need to watch more of it and then ask less questions. And then maybe it'll start to click with me.
I think you're confusing yourself with a sports journalist, and you're more of an entertainment journalist.
Maybe.
Okay. We comment on performers, not athletes. They are athletic, but they are performers. That's why I always say performer more often than I say wrestler. I'll never say superstar. That I'm never going to say the tagline. But I always call them performers because that's what these people are. Okay. They emote. They give character development. They do all of this stuff in the ring to tell a story. The athleticism that they do is awe-inspiring, don't get me wrong, but what's even more awe-inspiring is when you dress in drag and you try to pass it off as serious.
And Torqueman in the chat brought up I did laugh at that part in the match. He brought up Tyler Breeze rolling slowly back and forth every time one of the Usos would go up to Doug was very excited. He was like, yes.
Are you kidding me?
I did laugh at that. So I guess.
And the Usos going along with it. Wouldn't you think any sane human being would just kick the shit out of the guy rolling in the ring?
Yeah.
No. The Usos went along with it and went back and forth about 6 times.
And there was that funny moment where he took the dress off Tyler Breeze and chucked it out of the ring, and it landed right in JBL's face, and that was kind of funny. But
they did a replay of it, which was even
the replay,
better.
and I love JBL going, "Hey, don't do a replay. There's just a match going on in the ring. Why are you showing people this right now? It's not important." Yeah, that was kind of funny. But
last time I had a dress thrown at me, I had to pay for it.
Yeah, I did enjoy that line. I don't know. I've seen so many people like, oh my God, that was hilarious about the Fashion File stuff, and I'm just like, but
the Fashion File stuff, yeah.
Maybe I need to separate that from the entertainment that they're doing in the ring. So okay, you turn me a little bit, not quite, but
let's just go in. But let's put it this way, okay? The Fashion File stuff, that's the stuff the writing staff is doing. Okay, that's the creative writing staff that I said was so lazy. That's what they're doing. The stuff that's in the ring, that's all the performers, okay? That is all them, okay? What they came up with was fantastic. I want more of that is what I want, okay? I know damn well the main writers did not go, Tyler, why don't you go ahead and just roll back and forth for about 4 minutes on the mat? That wasn't on their mind.
It was silly.
How in the hell would that be on their mind?
It was silly.
Yes, it was silly.
It was supposed to be silly.
Yeah, and the ending segment of that match with Uso missing the super kick on Tyler, getting his own guy, and Tyler doing the unprettier. The crowd is going bananas, kicks out, and and then you have just a freak finish of, I think it was Tyler gets caught on the outside, thrown into the barricades that almost landed on some people that didn't mean to. And then Fandango getting taken advantage of with no one to help him out. I mean, it was a fun match. And it told a story, believe it or not. Regardless of the stupidity, it showed that the Usos were thrown off the game by the stupidity that they were doing. They almost won.
They almost did. Yeah, that was the big tell. Almost winning.
Yeah, they almost won.
Do you want to do hot takes for the rest of the card, since we've talked about?
Yeah, let's do some hot takes.
Because I feel like we hit the shit hard that we want to talk about, and then there's the rest of it. So I have the fancy music.
Fancy music, cue it up.
Yeah, I know you can't hear it, but it's there.
Well, I can somewhat hear it.
Sort of. Okay. Let's talk about, this is the shit we didn't talk about so far. Let's see. SmackDown 6 women's tag. Naomi. I just said women's twice. I'll try that one more time. 6 women's tag team match. Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch versus Natalya, Carmella, and Tamina. So I think it was Goosey said this, that it's weird to see Charlotte as a babyface right now. I don't like it. It's weird.
No.
Yeah. No. You're not having it either?
No, I am not having this at all. Hot takes that I'm taking from this match. Becky Lynch's hair should no longer be over 4 inches high. Okay? That thing almost touched the roof of that arena. Okay, Becky, don't do that crap. Naomi, you're blinding me. Just, I can only take so much of the neon dancing and everything. Charlotte as a baby face is horrible because of everything that was established from her on the Raw roster for the past 2 years. How do you make that change without turning on a heel that's worse? How do you just organically come into somewhere and just say, oh, I'm a good guy and these girls don't like me because I'm here and I'm so much better, so I'm going to be friends with the people that I used to beat the crap out of
it's so weird.
On a regular basis. Oh, and they don't seem to have a problem with it either. That doesn't make any sense to me. Natalya.
Natalya.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Tyson, come home.
Yeah, she's terrible at everything.
Tamina's the only sane person.
Does Natalya get a pass because she was in the dungeon and everyone just has a boner for? Again, I have respect for the Hart family and people that worked in the dungeon, but just because you went there doesn't mean like you're all of a sudden good at what you do. Like she's just.
She's never had a free pass with me.
She stinks. I'm not a fan.
She's been horrible ever since she arrived.
Like if she was more of a heel using her annoying, like, cause I could hear her audibly off to the side going, yeah, and I just like, and I get a little, I get a little angry inside. I get just agitated, annoyed. So if that's what she's trying to do, you're doing a hell of a job, Natalya. Otherwise, not a fan. What'd you think of Kevin Owens and AJ Styles this evening, sir?
It was fun.
It's okay.
I guess it was okay. I mean, I kind of like that finish. I like that finish where AJ Styles lost by his own greed.
I like that too.
I really like that idea. I don't know. Is that considered a hot take? It's not really an angry take.
No, it's a hot take. I mean, I'm sure some people were pissed in Chicago that they didn't get to see a finish, but you can't take that title.
Well,
right
they're
off
Chicago. Chicago deserves every single fucking thing they ever get.
Chicago's
okay.
Yes. We didn't hear too many CM. Did we hear too many CM Punk chants tonight? Because I heard a smattering of one, but
they tried it during the NXT show Saturday,
and it failed.
They tried it. It was during the Bobby Roode Hideo Itami match.
And
Hideo went for the GTS. He nailed it. The crowd, some pockets in the crowd started chanting CM Punk, and they were immediately booed down.
Good.
By everyone else in the crowd.
Good.
They were booed out.
Why can't they move on? Like Punk has moved on with his life. Why can't the wrestling? They just really want that dude back.
They just want a reaction. That's all. They just chanted just to chant it. I mean, if they knew they could get a reaction from anyone in the ring, if they were yelling horseradish, they would do it.
He's not a wrestler anymore, everybody. Move on.
Yeah. He's done.
He's done.
As far as Kevin Owens goes, I miss the beard. Kevin looks weird.
Well, they want him to. Did you notice that when he walks out now?
Walks around his face.
Around him. I love that. I did not notice that until today. I was like, oh, that's good. That's really good.
Well, he's not going to walk on his own face.
No, but it's funny. It's entertaining.
It's great. I'm like, I never knew his face was that large.
No, it's a big face. Big face.
He's the guy with the big head.
Did you see the selfie that Finn posted with the big?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fun. Just took a big
I am digging the Finn Balor pictures that he takes of him.
He does have
standing
good stuff.
with feet together and hands close to his sides and just standing there smiling.
That's
I'm kind of digging.
You know what? Here's another hot take since you bring him up. I watched the WWE 24 special on Finn Balor, and I'm going to give this dude a shot. I was kind of ready to be like, oh, no, I'm not, because I wasn't super impressed with some of his matches in NXT. But that special made him that those specials help. They're very, very, very helpful. So sure. I'm gonna give Finn a shot. I know you were kind of iffy on him, but
did the Roman Reigns 24 special help you?
It did. It really did. I mean, it didn't last very long because you start hearing Roman cut promos and you kind of get underwhelmed by it. But if he talks less and just flashes his pretty eyes at the camera, it's more effective. But when you have Roman trying to cut,
it makes me tingle.
It gives you a little reaction.
It makes me feel a little awkward, but sure.
A little reaction down below.
Oh, yeah. It makes me have to adjust the hero a little bit there. Yeah.
What'd you think of the former Wyatt family members, Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, doing stuff tonight?
I feel so sorry for Luke Harper right now.
He's in good shape, though, dude. You see what great shape he got into?
He is the new Kane. He is the Kane that this roster needs right now. And I just feel like he is being severely... God, this is what happens when he was typecast into that Wyatt family role, and he is not made to be a babyface at all. None of these guys who are in that family is meant to be a babyface at all. I like the freedom that they're trying to give Eric Rowan and, everything they're trying with his character, but man, Luke Harper, I feel sorry for this guy.
Did you see?
I have no idea what they're going to do.
Did you see Eric Rowan bring he's been testing this psychotic clown thing where he will bring balloons to the ringside. He'll hand it to a kid and then he'll pop it in front of their face and start laughing. And it's actually, it's not that bad. It's actually kind of funny. So
there are the ones I've seen where he's handing the balloon to the kid, but he lets it go before he hands it off to the kid.
See, that's funny.
It just goes up in the air. That's even better.
That's good. I like that. Okay. So maybe there could be something there with
but I don't know if you don't want to call it a psychotic clown. Okay?
No, it's
this
not
guy
really.
Isn't dressed up like Doink. He's just got the damn sheet mask with the smiley face on.
Yeah.
It's not. He's just trolling people. Okay,
he's essentially trolling people with weird masks.
Trolling kids is even better.
Pretty much. Any more hot takes from this show tonight that caught your attention?
I'm really glad that Daniel Bryan is so into wanting to get back into the ring after his contract with the WWE ends. He's really looking forward to that. He's said it before that he's really itching to get back into the ring. And I really hope he still feels that way after his child has just been born.
I think he'll change his mind.
We'll see.
I hope not, but I
want to know who he's talking to. Is he being really serious about this? Is he just feeding people right now? Is he selling? Is what he's doing? Is he working
maybe.
a lot of people right now?
It's possible, but
because that's really horrible.
It would be stupid of him to do it. But
I mean stupid from the work. Okay, that's really horrible.
If medically he gets cleared, which I don't think is going. I mean, the way he was describing there's just no. I mean, yes, your brain can heal over a certain amount of time, but that's why, NFL players retire early, or a lot of mixed martial arts fighters are kind of. Anthony Rumble Johnson, who just had a title fight last month or 2 months ago, just said, I'm out of here, because he's worried about. He hasn't experienced severe concussions or knockouts in his career, but he was nervous because he was the one that would give out the concussions. But he was nervous about having long-term brain damage and CTE problems. And so I can't imagine Daniel would want to put that at risk. I know he loves professional wrestling, but man, Do
you want to have a posture like Kurt Angle?
Yeah, where he's just kind of hunched over, and he's
all hunched over. Your legs can't stand straight.
Can't move your neck. Yeah, it just doesn't.
You can't move your neck. Do you want to have a limp like Mick Foley? I mean, come on.
And maybe what if he said, here's a hypothetical. What if he goes to a doctor? The doctor says your brain is better than what it was 2 years ago. And what if he just wants to have one more match? Because he never really got to decide when his last match was going to be. They just pulled him out of the ring and they said, nah, we're not going to do this anymore. So what if he wants to do one more match? Would it be worth it? Obviously, the WWE is not going to sign off on it, so he would do this in, maybe Ring of Honor. He would do this in New Japan. Whoever would shell out the money to do this. What would your reaction be to that? Where he would publicly say, I just want one more, and that's it. And call it a day.
I just go, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's not you don't want to see it.
I'm really, really sorry to hear that. Do I want to watch it? No, I'm not going to be the one to watch that. Does the organization want to buy into that and say, yeah, we'll sign him on for one more match? And I got to tell you, if you want to live with the consequences of what may happen in that match for someone who's so desperate to get back into the ring, you go right ahead. Be TNA. Go ahead and do that.
But you're not going to support it, though, yeah? So you're not going to watch that?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. See, I would watch it, but I understand what you're saying, that it would not be good. Not a good move.
No. Not at all.
Not smart.
No.
So that was Backlash. I want to flash up on the screen the poll we put up on at Wrestleview. 43% of people giving it a thumbs up. 38% thumbs in the middle, Douglas. So there's a little fluctuation between those two areas. 19%.
Oh, I want to talk to an American.
Oh, I'm angry that an Indian is my champion now.
My internet doesn't work. Why do I have to talk to Cynthia from New Delhi?
I want to give it a chance, though. I really do. I know people.
Give this a big chance.
I want to try it, and we'll see how it goes. This is the exact same way people reacted to JBL winning the title, and that turned out to be really fun and really good. So let's see how this one goes, everybody, before you take a big poop on it. I was looking at the schedule, Douglas. So we had Backlash tonight. 2 weeks from tonight, we have Extreme Rules on June the 4th. So that's a Raw only pay-per-view. And then 2 weeks from that, June the 18th, we have Money in the Bank, which I would guess is a Smackdown only show. So we're only going to get a briefcase winner for one brand, or are they going to have someone are they going to have 5, whatever the amount of guys are from Raw, maybe?
I think they're probably going to have 2 separate Money in the Bank cases.
You would think so, but I don't know. They usually just want one. They usually just want one dude walking around with one of those things, right? So maybe the dude could then choose which show he wants to spring it on. Maybe
that sounds good.
Okay, so maybe
I kind of like that.
So maybe we'll get a mixture of Raw and SmackDown guys. But just because like a Raw guy or SmackDown guy wins, it doesn't mean he's going to necessarily, unless they make that a rule. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass.
I kind of like how you put that up in the air. Like, who knows what the hell's going to happen?
We will see.
That would absolutely help, but who knows?
We will see. So we got that 2 weeks from the 4th, so June 18th, and then, July the 2nd is Slammiversary, so you probably don't care about that. That's the TNA. Impact Wrestling. They do not want you to call it TNA anymore, Douglas. No more Total Nonstop Action. It's Impact Wrestling.
I know.
And then July the 9th is I don't know if we talked about this, was the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view name.
Oh, that's right, the Great Balls of Fire.
That's right.
We got to do a pregame show for that one.
We should do a pregame show for that. It's going to be in Big Dallas, Big D, Great Balls of Fire. That's going to be Brock Lesnar's first title defense as Universal Champion. So the winner at Extreme Rules so they have many weeks to build up to Bork.
I cannot wait for the Paul Heyman promos for this one.
It's going to be fun. Great Balls of Fire.
How is he going to sell Great Balls of Fire?
There was a very funny interview with AJ Styles when they were in Europe. And the interviewer goes, "So what do you think about Great Balls of Fire?" And he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's the name of the next pay-per-view." And he goes, "Seriously?" And he had no idea. And they were he's like, "Well, that's interesting, I guess." And you could tell he didn't want to give his actual
that was put on the spot.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, really?"
Explain the company man here.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Great. I can't wait to see what happens.
Very sweet and stuff. And how dare you, Frank McMahon in the chat room? He's taking Tony Romo shots. The man's retired. He's a sportscaster now. You've made it fun of him enough. I knew that was going to happen with the name of that, but everybody's got to pick on old Tony.
They can go and pick on old Tony all he wants. He just made Phil Simms unemployed.
That he did, as I sip from my Dallas Cowboys cup.
Yeah, you guys go and dog Tony all you want. He's making mad money.
He's making a lot of dough. A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Douglas, if you have any other parting shots, now's the time, because we are going to get out of here. We're going to be back here a lot faster next time, unless you don't want to join me, that is. I just assumed you'd want to join me, but it's just I don't know. June the 4th, Extreme Rules. So
nothing changes. I mean, nothing really changes. Of course I'll join you, honey.
Okay.
I always
Thank you,
love
sweetie.
joining you.
I was nervous I was going to have to do it by myself. I didn't want to do it by
myself.
myself.
Muffin.
Oh, sweetheart. All right, so we'll be back here 2 weeks from tonight, June the 4th, Extreme Rules.
For the rules that are extreme.
Yes, that's a Raw only show, so we'll break that down for you.
So extreme, we need to use all the vowels.
Yes, we do. As always, subscribe to us on the YouTubes. That helps. That lets you know when we go live or when we upload a show. YouTube.com/WrestleView Radio. We have the link up on WrestleView.com as well. Also, search Wrestleview Media on SoundCloud or iTunes if you would like to just listen to our beautiful voices and you don't want to stare at Doug. Doug's got a blue shirt on right now. Got him on camera.
Smackdown brand, okay?
Yeah,
You got
that's
to
true.
understand.
Maybe I should dress more appropriate for the Raw show, so something red maybe next time. So, okay. So we'll
I'm going to wear a red tube top for
that would be absolutely terrifying, but I would like to look at it though. I'll check it out. That'll be fine. We'll scare.
I am a nice solid A cup right there for you, honey.
That's going to be that's when the audio option might be better for you for that.
Yes.
For that portion of the stuff. I still don't know why people like to watch video podcasts, but they do. So some people want to just bring up YouTube. They don't want to listen on iTunes or SoundCloud. So we offer it. It's fine.
I emote.
Yeah, we try to emote. We should do more things. I should probably put more stuff in the background. I tried putting Doug on like a TV in near me, which I might try to do again in the future, but it didn't work out so well last time. It was very bright, but we'll figure that out in the future.
I need to have better decor.
Yeah, decorate.
I gotta have a wrestling book sitting on my bed.
That's right.
I need to have something. No, I know what I will. I'll put some wrestling buddies on the bed.
Yeah, okay. You know what we should do, Doug?
What should we do?
At some point, I should invest in a 360 camera because I have one of these virtual reality Google things. So you could pop it on and you could feel like you're in the studio with me. No, that would be stupid. No one wants to do that. So
I'll try.
You could try it. I actually they have a WWE backstage experience thing I should try out, see if it's any good. But virtual reality is kind of it's getting there, but it's not. That's
something I've always wondered why they didn't try with like Raw and SmackDown when they do the live, and you have the WWE app and you can watch the stuff during.
Oh, they've experimented.
Everything
They've experimented.
Well, they've done that, but I wish they would do different camera angles. Like you can watch the ring post camera, or you can just watch the hard camera. I wish they would do stuff like that.
They do, like, they'll put up a video. They had Renee Young doing something where she was like watching matches with people, and then she did like a backstage tour, and it was all virtual reality 360. So I think they're starting to do stuff, but it's not, obviously the technology's not quite there yet. So it'll get there eventually. All right, Douglas, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thank you for listening to us talk about the backlashes for a little over an hour. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you like it. We hope you subscribe. We hope you download the podcast. We hope you do a bunch of stuff. And what else?
We hope you brush your teeth.
Brush your teeth, yeah. Read a book.
Read a book. We hope you've called your mother.
Yeah, that too. Hope you had a good Mother's Day. Before we go, I've been listening to too much Soundgarden. How shitty has this last? I mean, I know people that aren't into like grunge but like that was like, because we're around the same. We grew up around the same era, so
yeah,
that was like our music. So. God, that sucked. I love Soundgarden. I loved Audio Slave. I loved anything Chris Cornell did. Even some of the solo stuff, tried to get into it, wasn't amazing. I'm not going to lie. But man, that sucked. So I've been listening to Super Unknown on Spotify like all week. And I just like, I got to stop listening to this. It's like depressing. I got to just like, got to focus on positivity and listen to other stuff. But man,
I just woke up in the morning and that was like a straight, heart punch.
Yeah, it was a gut punch.
That's what that was. Like, It was just a straight punch to the gut, And Super Unknown was the first CD I ever bought. That was the first CD I ever bought. And I listened to that front to back. Then I listened to Bad Motor Finger, but front to back, back to front. Yeah, whatever order it was supposed to be that I did. And then. Yeah, I was on basically a Soundgarden binge all day that day, and threw in a couple of Audio Slave and a couple of his. But no, it was basically Soundgarden all day. But yeah, that was a straight punch to the gut.
It really was. And I had an opportunity to see one of their shows in Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and I just couldn't make it work with the drive because it takes me about 4 or 5 hours to get there, and I was just like, I was like, man, I've always wanted to see, because like. I'm sure growing up you wanted to see Soundgarden live, and then when they did the reunion tour, I was like, holy shit, this would be amazing to see them live. I just, for some reason, took it. That was one of those dudes that I just never pictured would just be gone or something.
So I saw them in Lollapalooza.
Nice. What year was that?
But, oh gosh, a while back. I think this was during the Super Unknown.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
so
during that, I believe. Yeah, while back. But Soundgarden, they were just here in Charlotte, but 3 weeks ago.
Oh God.
Over for a big, massive 3-day festival that they have over here. And yeah, they were one of the main acts. And so, yeah, when it happened, I was talking with all my friends who went to it and talking about like, well, what was the set? What was he playing? They're like, well, it was about the same as anything else. There wasn't anything different about it, you know? So we were all just kind of sitting there playing, you know, armchair psychologist, trying to figure out, you know, what the hell happened here.
Mm-hmm. I think everybody is. There's a whole timeline that Rolling Stone broke down, and it's just rough. It sucks. So I've been just on a binge of Soundgarden for the last couple days, and it's just like the demeanor it brings it down. So I need to go back to some, you know, Royal Blood or something and pep it up a little bit because it's just too much.
You need to listen to something a little more cheerful, like Deep Purple.
Yes, a little, yeah, sure. That'll cheer me right up. A little Black Sabbath, maybe. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, maybe some Nirvana.
Yeah,
that'll make you feel a little better.
I know. I had so many friends that are like, "How do you listen to that stuff? It's so depressing." But I don't know. Grew up with it. I love it. Can't say enough about it.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends that were like you and hated the stuff that I liked. That's why I listened to the stuff, because I hate you.
Yeah,
just keep on going.
Just keep on doing it. Keep on doing. Keep on going.
Keep on going the way that you're going right there. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get the hell out of here. So we will talk to you 2 weeks from tonight for WWE Extreme Rules. Obviously, subscribe to us on YouTube, Wrestleview Media on SoundCloud and iTunes. He is at Doug Wrestleview on the Twitter. I am at Adam Wrestleview on the Twitter. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. And we will talk to you very soon, everybody. Bye.